All right. Welcome back, Kings and Queens. Today we are talking Love and Marriage Huntsville. Listen, I'm a little bit behind, but I'm coming, honey. I am coming. We're talking season 9, episode 6. This is a continuation from last week's live because I kind of wanted to peel off by myself and just give you my thoughts uninterrupted without me worrying about having to open up a link or anything like that. But let's get into it because in this episode, I wanted to break it down. I'm going to be primarily focused on Letitia Scott at the end. Listen, we're going to talk about him. But this episode, there was a part in this episode where Martell met with Destiny and he said, "Where's Law? Where Law at?" Destiny, can you talk about that? Because we know you quick to shut people down about what you want and what you can and what they can't say. But he said, "Where Law at?" That's what Martell asked you. Why you ignore him? Because that's the second time he's brought up your son on television and you froze up. That's the second time he's brought up that little boy and you froze up. So what's up with it? Why you ain't checked him about talking about your family? The same way he had a tantrum about Marsau talking about his family. How come you ain't said nothing when he says your son looks like him? How come you didn't say, "Hold up, I know we're here"? What does Martell? I know we're here, but hey, quit bringing up my son like that on camera. That ain't nothing to play with. I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. It gives people the wrong perception that something. How come you ain't had that conversation with him on camera? Huh? You like to debunk the rumor with everybody except him. What is it that you're afraid that if you hold him accountable may come out of his mouth? I'll wait. In this scene, and I'm going to skip around a little bit, where Destiny met with Martell to quote unquote pretending to care about what Martell said to Tisha, girl, sit it down because you know you don't bit more care about what he said to Tisha. You're just trying to cover your A. CY ass. You're trying to CYA, I'm sorry, cover your ass. So you're pretending that you care, but you really don't give a damn, and we know it. But here's the thing, y'all. That scene, that scene, it taught me a lot about Martell and his dynamics within the show. Because what that showed me is all of them know not to mess with him, including the producers. Yep, I said it. And I think they're scared of him. The question is, why do you think they're scared of Martell, including the producers? Right? It seems like everybody he got all of y'all jammed up. He has all of you jammed up. Martell reminded Destiny that she's the one who set up the drama because she made sure to ask him first the questions to get the shit off his chest. So when she was trying to hold him accountable, he said, "Wait a minute, but why would you come to me first? You asked me more questions than you ask everybody else." He was reminding her, "Don't go there with me." Because you already knew what time it was. Letitia, y'all was set up, baby. I don't care how you spin it, how you slice it. Y'all were set up. She did the same bullshit to you that she did to Melody at Melody's album release party. When she pulled her aside and tried to low-key confront her about some shit that Martell had said about having 20 babysitters. Go back and roll the tape if you don't believe me. Girl, I see you coming a mile away, Destiny. Everybody else doesn't, but I do. Now, Martell in that scene was trying to talk about Letitia accepting Marsau cheating. Duh. I mean, Ray Charles can see that. We know that. We don't want to talk about that. What we want to talk about, we want to see those receipts that you was yelling that you had at the park. Show us the receipts. Because you said, "Tisha, if I were you, I would want to see too." Okay, we waiting. Show the receipts, Martell. We want to see the receipts that you said you had on camera. Because the same thing that you are accusing Letitia of doing is what you tried to force Melody to do. Plot twist. Yeah, you said Letitia's accepting the cheating. Letitia is coaching the mistresses how to respectfully cheat. No, you try to force Melody to do that, but she left your black ass. Boy, bye. So now you mad and you trying to accuse Letitia of the same thing that you put. See, you put that battery in Destiny's back. You see how that shit worked, Destiny? Y'all see how it works? Destiny tried to come and exploit that. What Martell told her about Melody. But girl, he's saying the same thing about your friend. So where's that big dick energy now? Yeah, you try to teach. Now you backing up off of it because he says, if I say it, you better believe it. And you back the hell down. What does old Marty Marr have on you? I think we know. And I think if you get out of line one time, Martell is going to throw you to the wolves. He's going to tell everything that you did to him and then some. And I think he's going to mix it with some truths and some lies. But here's the thing. Nobody's going to care because you have been ride or die for him from beginning to the end, to the point that you completely threw your friendship with Melody under the bus. That's what you get should he decide to turn on you and devour you on national television. And I think it's about to happen in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Listen, for those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
Destiny, you messed up. You messed up big time. Everybody sees you and recognizes you for who you are. Destiny is not a real friend to nobody. Look at how she dogs out or tries to control and bully every woman she's around. Now, the only reason she has not done it to Letitia, is because Letitia has the rest of the Scots that she's connected to. But baby, if you were a single woman, Destiny would try to turn up that big D energy on you, Letitia, just like she did with her friend, her therapist, her life coach, or whomever she is. That lady has been riding for you from day one. And the first chance that she disagrees with you, you eat her alive in front of your audience. Girl, couldn't be me. Couldn't be me, because Dion, I would have handed her ass to her on that live. You back down. When she stared at you like a serpent, you should have stared. You know what? That'll be a completely different video. Let me reel myself in. Destiny is not a friend to anyone. To anyone. Let's talk about the Scots. The Scots don't talk about shit. They never want to talk about their shit, and they tend to lean on the confidentiality of the law when it comes to them. Ooh, they love to play in our faces when it comes to confidentiality of the law. How about this? Stop getting caught up in criminal behavior or fraudulent behavior, and you won't have to use the law as an excuse for the reason that you can't talk about something because it's in litigation. They be all up in everybody else's business except their own. And when it's time for you to talk, you get lockjaw because of the law, because it's whatever it is. BS. You're on reality television. You talked about Martell's RP, his revenge P. You talked about Melody. I want to know what's going on with y'all. And that's where production continues to fail us. That's why I say, man, listen, recast this show. Just do away with it. Because Carlos, you done got yourself caught up in a way you can't even make your cast members talk. I'm glad Melody asked them about Maurice in this particular episode. Keep in mind, I'm behind one, okay? Because he is not exempt. Dig his shit up like y'all dig up everybody else's, Carlos. He and Kimmy ain't got, they really don't have nothing going on too much on this show. So they need to talk. Don't nobody care nothing about no core 6. So stop pushing that narrative on us, because the audience, we're not checking for the core 6 like you are, Carlos. I know you're stuck to the core 6. At this point, we don't give a damn. The show is trash, honey. It has gone down the drain. So you need to get the Scots to talking. You need to get the Scots to talk, and somebody needs to say something at this point. We need to know a little bit more about what's going on with the Scots and this pact that they have. That's why you got to get rid of one of the couples. Kimmy and Maurice should go first. Let's talk about Trisha and Melody. Y'all remember Trisha and Melody's conversation? It reminds me of She by Sheree, when every time somebody would ask Sheree, when is her line coming? She would say, winter, spring, summer, fall. Spring, summer, fall. Yeah, Melody had Trisha mumbling like Sheree. Yeah. Summer, spring, summer, fall. Winter, spring, summer, fall. Girl, Melody had you jammed up like a sack of seafood mussels, baby. You were jammed up and clammed up. She walked you like a prosecuting attorney. And I don't want to hear nothing in the chat. Let me ask y'all something. Some of you present the argument, well, that's her ex-husband. She shouldn't be asking Trish nothing about him. Then y'all stop talking about him. Why everybody still talking about her and her ex-husband? Huh? We still talking about it. We still make money off of it. The show is still running it as a storyline. So all of a sudden, Melody can't use her own content as her storyline. Y'all got to be crazy. No, we going to talk about it because Trish, this is what you wanted to do. You wanted to pop up in my spot and bring your ass on my show. This is how I would be feeling, right? And this is why I say Melody has every right. You brought your ass into my environment. Don't think I'm not going to press you. No, you going to have to work for your fucking money on this show, girl. I'm going to ask you all kind of questions. I'm going to show and prove that you are a liar. I'm going to get all up close in front of your face. When was it? Winter? What was the driveway like? What color was the house? No, that's reality television. Now all of a sudden Melody doesn't have a right to ask. Y'all get the hell out of here. Y'all be picking and choosing what you want to hear, what you don't want to hear, making up rules as you go. Nope. Nope, nope. If Trish can keep Melody's name in her mouth, Melody has every reason to set. Now, that's how you set up a meeting. That's grown woman shit. Let's talk about it one on one. See, you didn't have that same energy with Melody one on one that you had on that girls' trip. She subdued you. Because when it comes to telling the truth, Trish, you are the weakest link. I feel like Trisha doesn't want Ken to know what really happened between her and Martell. I'm shaking my damn head talking about you didn't say bye to her on the girls' trip because people made it awkward. Baby, call names. In this Love and Mirror Huntsville sector, we call names, Trish. We stand on business over here. Just say Stormy made it awkward because I know that's who you're talking about. Stand on business with it, sis. Where's that big muscle energy that you use on everybody else when you were trying to, you had a lot to say when you had backup? Say that shit. Say Stormy called you out at the table. It made it awkward. Let everybody know that you were lying about Martell, and because of that, and only that, that's why you didn't say bye to Melody, but you're trying to put it on your homegirl now that she's not around. You see what I'm saying? Weak bitches. Weak. Well, people made it awkward, so I didn't say bye. No, stand on business. Don't put it on people. You didn't want to say bye. You look like a damn fool because you was sleeping with that man while that lady was still married to him and while you were still married and while you was knocking off Ken. And not only that, Ariane, don't get too cute because he was sleeping with you too. That's some nasty, listen, that's some nasty community D. Ain't nobody worried about vaginal health. Ain't nobody worried about their pH balance being off. That's what I'm saying. Ain't no way you can pay me to grin in the camera when I'm sharing a dick that 3 or 4 other women have. And you ain't worried about your pH? Your bacterial vaginosis that you could get from a man sleeping with other women, multiple women, allegedly men too. Girl, ain't nothing cute or funny about that, Ariane. Ain't nothing cute or funny about that. When you start doing the numbers, girl, you need to listen. All women should be worried about that. But when you are publicly happy that a man like Martell flaunts you around publicly every now and then, he takes you to a game, he may take you out to eat, the odds are in your favor of catching an STD. Like, I don't get it. But anywho, yeah, let everybody know that the real reason you didn't say bye because you was sleeping with that man, and that's some foul shit to come on that show and be in that lady's face and not give her a heads up. Because what the fuck does that have to do with Melody? Because somebody else made it awkward. Make it make sense. But again, y'all love blaming Melody. Y'all love blaming Melody. So it would only make sense that Trish would pin her lack of goodbye on Melody Cherie. Why not? Everybody else blames her for everything. But let me move on. Restore. My question to Letitia and Marsau is, how come y'all always arrive separately? What's going on with y'all? Are y'all together? Or are you not together? I'm going to get to it. Are you or are you not together? When was the last time y'all have seen them being filmed together in the same vehicle? How come y'all are coming separately and leaving separately all the time? Are you together? Are you not together? That's what I want to know. And that's where I lose respect for you, Carlos King. because you was popping your shit last night. Now you said, based on your interview with Andrea Kelly, you're going to start popping your shit more. You should, but pop it all the way. If we popping shit, I want to see it. Give us a reason to give you a round of applause, but that's where I lose respect for you, because we know they were separated. At least I did. And I covered it, okay? Months ago. Ariane said it. You know, she can't hold iced tea. Here's the video. I'm gonna put it in the description box. The video where I highlighted that they were separated. And being separated is not a big deal. Unfortunately, people go through things. That's not the big deal. That's not what causes me to lose respect for Carlos King as a producer. My problem is, how come we didn't capture it? Production. How come you helped them to hide it from the reality of it all? If you are the reality king of television, how come you did not capture that separation in real time? That could have made a positive impact on how we see television when it comes to real life experiences. Let me talk about it. That could have been a positive after a difficult time in their marriage. That could have been a way to display how they were able to reconnect. And not only that, sharing with the audience what they did individually, how they worked on themselves individually, and how they brought it or were able to bring it together as a couple. How long it took them to do it. And also showcasing the reason why the separation happened in the first place. Why was the separation on the table in the first place, other than the last 5 years have been hard? What happened? What did he do? How did you find out? That's good reality television. That's Black excellence, when a couple goes through, but they're able to come back together and make it work and speak on their love for each other and say, damn, that was hard. And actually telling the truth. My husband cheated on me. My husband had multiple affairs. That is what really depressed me. And the fact that the audience knew, and I thought I could hide it because Carlos promised us that he wouldn't talk about it. That is what actually sent me into a depression. You know what I'm saying? Instead of trying to pee on our leg and tell us it's raining. It makes no sense. And that's where I lose respect for you, Carlos. Because when Robin Dixon concealed one's affair from the show, The Real Housewives of Potomac, you loudly and proudly said she should have been fired. Oh, yes, you did, sir. You said that she should have been fired because she should have shared it on the show. And as a producer, you would have fired her. You would fire your cast members that are not open with their lives. That's it. That's all when it comes to that. You said you would have fired. Hold on. Marsau and Letitia get into this conversation regarding the symbolism of the ring. If your wife, Marsau, somebody go get Marsau. Come sit down, sir. Let me put you up on game. Letitia, follow my lead on this one. Just listen very closely. This is, I hate to say this. This is going to be a real tough conversation. We're talking about the conversation they had, the symbolism of the ring. I don't give a damn what you feel about a ring, sir. If your wife wants you to wear the ring, then you wear the damn ring because it's important to her. It seems like you have a history of denying your wife the opportunity to connect with you emotionally. And the fact that she said she suffered a depression and she felt alone while being married to you, that's pretty harsh to me as a married woman. And I know you say all millimeters are old and deplorable and they're lonely. That's a lie. That's a lie. I'm telling you, that's a lie. Because I'm speaking through the microphone as a married woman, and the way you treat your wife is bullshit. But you know what? Rock on. What? The fact that your wife felt alone and depressed, and ladies, listen, what good is a man that cannot provide you the emotional comfort when you're at your worst? And that lady said, I felt alone. What's the fucking point of being married if I can't come to my spouse and say, damn, this is hard. This is hard. It sounds like you were nowhere to be found, Marcel. And what I'm talking about when I say nowhere to be found, I'm talking about the mental, the emotional piece. You were not a crutch for your wife. You should have been a shoulder for that lady when she couldn't carry herself. Tisha, I don't think your husband wants to be married. I don't. But I think he has enough sense to realize that he's been married for a very long time, that he may as well stay. That's a difference. Well, shit, I mean, I may as well stay. It's cheaper to keep her. That old song, it's cheaper to keep her. And I'm not saying this in a malicious way. I'm just saying, like everybody else give their assessment on reality television, I don't think the man wants to be married, but he's savvy enough to know that I've been here long enough. I may as well stay. I think somewhere between the past 12, I'm going to say 12 to 16 months, he's decided to try a little bit harder because of your emotional condition, Letitia. But deep down inside, believe him, what he's telling you. His foundational philosophy regarding marriage remains the same. He has never steered away from what he believes marriage to be, which is slavery, imprisonment, torture. There is nothing fun to him about being married to you, unfortunately, based on his delivery. Now, I don't know what he does behind the scenes, but I know he's not allowing us or somebody else to see it publicly. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all know how when y'all say keep that same private energy publicly, you know what I'm saying? So whatever he's saying publicly, I mean, I'm sorry, I done messed the whole damn thing up. Whatever he's doing privately, he ain't showing up like that publicly. That's not the same energy he gives when it's time to stand up for you, when it's time to show you that he loves you and he cares for you, which makes me want to say he don't want to be married. I trust a man when he says something. Okay? I think he's giving you the best that he has. But I don't think it's going to ever be fulfilling to you as a woman. I think you've settled, and I think you know you've settled. What shit? I'm just telling you. Look, and I think that's the sadness. I think you've come to the realization this is the best I'm gonna get. I may get a few trips thrown in every now and then, every few years. But what happens when your kids grow of age and they leave the house? What's the next step between you and Marsau? Hmm? I think there's so much that you probably don't know about your husband, unfortunately. And you're probably never going to see that side of bliss that you deserve as a woman. I feel like Marsau gaslights the hell out of his wife. Okay. And people are looking at you and thinking, no, people are looking at you. I am, Letitia. Let me not say people. Let me speak for myself. Sometimes I'm like, what makes her stay? What makes her stay? Is it the longevity? And she also is along the same thinking. Hey, I've been here. I may as well stay. Because one thing he said to her about not wearing a ring, Tisha, do you think people look at me and think I'm not married? Now, you know damn well people are looking at you and they have no idea that you're married if you're not wearing a ring. Stop playing. If you're not wearing a ring, that means you're not married, sir. Your wife is absolutely correct, but you are gaslighting her. And Letitia, I know you started crying and you doing all of that. Sweetheart, you are alone in this as far as what marriage means to you and how you value it. You were the only one talking about the value of marriage and the symbolism of marriage. He listened. And here's where I think you messed up. Y'all were separated at one point, and I think you should have laid down the law before you took his black ass back. Let's talk about it. See, listen, I ain't saying nobody should take somebody. Listen, that ain't my business. But I'm going to tell you, if you're going to do it and where you went wrong, you didn't lay down the law. You should have laid the law down. You should have outlined your hard requirements. You should have had deal breakers. And the number one requirement for him entering back into that home, if he really wanted you. See, sometimes, ladies, you're not willing to go the extra mile to really see if a nigga wants you or not. Sometimes you're not built like that, because if you were Letitia, that should have been the first requirement. You're going to put that ring back on. And that's when you would have fucked around and found out if he really want to be back with you or not. See, you took him back. You took him back. Ladies, don't be taking these Negroes back before you lay down your requirements for the job. But Letitia, you took him back. He wooed you. And then it later occurred to you that, wait, now that I think about it, here's what I need in this marriage to make me feel secure. Too late. Too late. He ain't got to do shit because he's already back. I wish you see, this is what happens when you play in our faces on reality television and you pretend that your life is perfect. People are trying to tear up your marriage when the shit is already tore up, and you're actually, for the last 5 years, you were having a very hard time, but you try to put that off on Melody. You weren't honest with yourself. You were not honest with the audience, and maybe you weren't honest with the producers. What you were going through had nothing to do with the Holts. You were simply going through a 5-year rough patch in your marriage. And Love and Marriage has been on for what? Love and Marriage Huntsville, what, 6 years? So you came on the show with your marriage in shambles, and you pretended that everything was perfect in your house. You pretended that everything was perfect in your life. I wish you would have shared your truth earlier in the beginning seasons of Love and Marriage Huntsville, because had you shared your truth and faced them, you would be further down the road today, in my opinion. But because you made it seem like everything was gravy, baby, your husband played you. He took advantage of your tenderness. He took advantage of your embarrassment. He knew he had the upper hand because you would do anything to conceal the fact that something was going on in your household. You did not want other women to know. Even though you were on a reality show, that would have been your power move for yourself. You would have empowered yourself by telling your own truth. You would not have had to have suffered in silence. You would have been so much further down the road with your husband. You would have jammed his ass up. You would have forced him to make a decision as a man, to put up or shut up. You would have. It would have been the scariest thing you would have done, but you would have come out on top whether you chose to stay with him or you chose to leave, because you would have bursted out of your comfort zone. And I'm going to tell you this, you would have worn over the heartstrings of the audience of real women that are tuning in, watching you navigate that. People appreciate vulnerability. I always say it looks good on Black women. It does, if you do it right. That lady was sitting there in that jewelry store pouring her heart out to him. And the entire time he was browbeating her until she started to cry, y'all. He was browbeating her to make sure she didn't say anything that he didn't want to be said on camera. Okay. She said, "We love each other. And that's why we decided to make it work." He did not affirm her statement at all in this scene. And it actually sounded like at one point he resented her for being tender and having some moments in the marriage by reminding her, "That's not the woman I married. You're not the Tisha I know you to be." So what if she's having a rough time? Hell, if you are betraying her by allegedly cheating, she's not going to be the same woman. You're ripping her apart when you cheat, when you commit adultery, when you have 20, 30 something, 22, 24 girlfriends. Hell no, she ain't going to be the same woman, but you're punishing her for that emotionally, the narcissism of it all. But let's keep going, okay? And instead of you stepping up like a man, you became stoic with your wife. And instead of you living through it with her, taking the lead, carrying her load on your shoulder, you criticize your wife for it. And you probably compared her. Let me tell you something. When men start saying, "That's not the woman I married," they say often that's a sign of cheating, because who are you comparing me to? How come I can't have a moment in the privacy of my home without you reminding me of what I used to be when you first met me. Nigga, you don't know what she used to be. You said you got married a month after knowing her. Hell. Listen, Marsau was sitting there trying to coach his wife up like he was a football coach. I swear to God. There was no emotional investment in that conversation. You were coaching that girl up like you was a football coach and she was a player and she needed to get back out on the field and score a touchdown. Make it make sense. Am I lying, y'all? Did y'all watch the same scene that I watched? Now, do you see why I had to take this as a sidebar conversation? The only reason, in my opinion, that you dabbed her eyes and showed an ounce of affection in that moment is because you didn't want to be embarrassed and you did not want to look like an asshole. So you did an ounce of affection by dabbing her eyes so that you would not be embarrassed on camera and look like a butt. You didn't really want to be that big of an asshole, even though you may be behind the scenes. Because it would have looked really bad had you not consoled your wife while she was crying on camera. Let me tell you something. When women cry, it's because they don't feel good. It's because they're not happy. Otherwise, we laugh, we're chipper, we're jovial. Your wife is crying because she's carrying a heavy load. Listen, Marsau talks about the revenge P. I'm going to say save it. Let me tell you why I'm going to say save it. I believe you saw it because your wife said they saw it. Your wife also said they saw Arion. Okay, but Arion don't care. She freak nasty like that anyway. So I'm not worried about her. Let me tell you why I'm telling Marsau to save it. Because you were all about a sex tape on that stage. Pull the tapes. Go back to the reunion. You thought it was entertaining. You thought it was cute. You thought it was funny to embarrass a woman. But the point is, you did find it funny. You did not find it repulsive that time I saw you on the reunion stage. You were out for blood as it relates to a woman. Which woman? I'm not sure. Like I said, either Melody or her mom. Okay. You laughed about another woman's pain. You joked about the possibility of another woman being violated, i.e., a sex tape. See, anytime somebody has something on you to utilize it to publicly shame you, that's a violation. And you laughed at that on that stage. Shall we pull the tapes? Sir, that's you. Okay. Only to fast forward 4 years later to learn that Martell, old Marty Mar, had been a peeping Tom when it comes to your own wife. Make it make sense?